Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is your host Anika and this is The Creative Hustle. Today's episode is a really special one, not because I have a guest, but this is just a truly different episode thanks to my best friend who gave me this awesome idea. This episode is going to be all about the behind the scenes look on how my process works. How do I find my guests? How do I make these episodes? And just like basically all things behind the scenes, as I said earlier. I won't be showing you any of the things like, any of my spreadsheets and things like that just for, reasons that I cannot justify at the moment. But I'll be talking about them just to kind of show you or tell you how things work for me. So, first of all, I kind of keep my ears open every time I hear a name. Even if it's as simple as a friend someone is talking about or their mom or someone, I keep hearing like, okay, this person does modeling for TV shows. This person has appeared on Kelly Clarkson and has talked about their music. Or this person has started a company and it's going really well. That kind of thing. And so regardless of whether they're famous or not, I still keep them in mind. Of course, if they're famous, you kind of have a more preference towards them because you're like thinking about how you can benefit them, how they can benefit you. It's kind of like a give and take situation. Something that I am super keen on doing with the podcast is kind of having a platform where I get to inspire people, talk about things I enjoy, and things that I'm passionate about. And so when I'm choosing my guests, I always have to think about, do I only like this person because I like them, or do you think they'll actually fit with my audience? My audience, which you guys are, if you guys are more into music, would I bring in a sports person? Probably not. And again, keep in mind, the show's name is The Creative Hustle, right? So we want people who are creative, not in the sense that, because really creativity is subjective as well, right? Anyone can be creative, like opening a can. Someone could find a creative way to open a can, right? And I won't bring them on the show by saying, okay, you're creative, come on the show, show us how you open cans. We won't do that. You kind of have to be very selective with who you choose because, again, when you are the one sending the emails, you won't always get a yes. You won't always be like, yeah, I would love to come on, or yeah, I would love to participate, or something like that. It's always very subjective, or more like based on what the guest is thinking or doing at the moment. They may have a busy schedule. They may say no. In fact, most of the time they do say no if they're a very high-profile guest. Now, before I go into the process of how I feel every time the rejection occurs, or how I face it, or how I go through it, I'll talk about that more in a second. But the main thing to understand though is how many of my friends and many of you guys have been asking, how do you find the emails of these like managers of these big people like Olivia Rodrigo, Macy Peters, and all those things? For me, again, this is honestly very strange to say out loud. I just dig, I recently had an interview with Alexa Curtis, you guys would have heard. It was not in the episode itself because I said this after the episode was over. But I call myself a hunter, and then that line kind of went all over the place on LinkedIn, Instagram, everywhere. And so the reason I said I'm a hunter is because I have no clue, honestly, how I find these emails. I just search up, okay, Olivia Rodrigo manager email, and then there's a bunch of stuff that shows up. I just take my luck, choose one email, and send them all. If it doesn't bounce back, I know it's sent somewhere. If not to the person, it's someone, I just do that. That's pretty much what I do. Sometimes you have to like dig deep in the sense that you have to check the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, check the the thing where it says check your email. Click that, find an email, send an email there. Instagram sometimes has link trees with emails in it, business emails, business inquiry emails. Yeah. With the smaller artists and like smaller guests that I have, oftentimes you can directly inquire directly one-on-one with them. So you're basically talking to the person you want on your guest directly. Whereas sometimes when it's as big of a guest as Olivia Rodrigo, by the way, who's my dream guest, they have a manager to go through. And if the manager normally is like, very busy as well, so you get late responses, no responses. And if you do get a response, it's mostly no's, sometimes yeses, but mostly no's depending on like the impact or the growth amount that artist or that creative person has. A recent occurrence of this. Now I'm gonna kind of bounce back again to how I deal with this. So, an example from today. I had reached out to Live Eagle's manager once again. That's probably my 7th or 8th time, probably more. And guess what? I got a no again. I was devastated, honestly. It was like, it felt like I was sinking into the earth, felt like it was the end of the world, which I think is how I feel pretty much all the time I get a rejection. But this time it was different because when you have been trying so hard, it's not even like you're just wasting your time, just doing things. When you've put in so much work and it still is a no, you change your email strategy, you change the way you approach them, you still gotta know, you kind of feel disheartened. But just remember, honestly, this is kind of what I keep telling myself. It is not a reflection of yourself. It is not a reflection of your self-worth in any way. Your self-worth is still up, still high, only if you let it stay up. If you let yourself be like, I'm gonna just give up, I'm just gonna leave it alone, what happens happens, I am not gonna move on with this, I'm gonna go on with my life knowing that I do not try. That's something you would want to avoid. I was falling into that today, but for me, something that really helps is talking to my best friend. I talk to her, clear it out, talk to my family, talk to everyone I can, and get it out of the way. Just having that person or someone to talk to about how you feel is very important as well, because then you can avoid making risky decisions or changing things that you may not want to change. Another thing that's very, very crucial in this whole process is expectations. I used to, in the start, when I just started this whole interview business type thing, I would always have like, I need a yes, I will not survive without a yes. That is still the case sometimes now, if I'm being honest, but you kind of have to let go of that expectation, because that's when it hurts the most. When you keep an expectation like, oh my god, I'm going to get a yes, and then you do not, it hurts because you have set the bar so high with your mind telling you that you will get it, and then it does not. That doesn't mean you should not manifest. I love manifestation. I am a manifesting queen. I love doing it. I think that by saying and putting it into existence kind of works out pretty well. But expectations versus manifestation is two different things. Manifesting is just putting into the universe, hoping that it gets true, but you do not mind if it doesn't. I mean, you do mind, but it won't affect you on an internal level. But expectation is like you want it to happen no matter what, and you will do whatever it takes. I am like that still, and I'm not afraid to admit it, because over here I want to be as transparent as possible so that you guys can understand that it's totally normal to feel that way, and you could just kind of have to move on, brush it off, and keep going forward and just keep trying, because main motto everyone says never give up, but it's always like very tough to not give up, because sometimes it is really, really like crazy in that world of the industry where people are always doing things. So there's always a million podcasters out there doing the same interview thing, and so it's very important to just keep at it and do what you love. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say in this episode. I hope you all enjoyed and learned something new. Feel free to, go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts and give me a review and give a rating. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.